don't really know how long it took her to get into the dress because I was getting dressed in the other room. But I know it only took me a second to get her out of it.
The FBI just revealed that J-Lo is trying to flee the country after Natanya Rubin finally started speaking out about the night. J-Lo and Puff allegedly shot her, and you are not going to believe what she had to say.
It was an act of faith and an act of love for a friend that was repaid to me. I took that act of love that was repaid, went and bought a pair of boots, and those boots saved my life. I put those boots back. I went and put those boots on, which had a heel on them, went down to the car, we went off to the club.
Diddy and J-Lo go way back, and with Diddy now being arrested on sexual abuse charges, everyone has been looking at what J-Lo has to say about the situation. Back in 1999, J-Lo and Diddy dated for almost 3 years, becoming one of America's hottest couples. Interestingly, reports are now coming in that Diddy was sexually abusing minors and kidnapping women while he was dating J-Lo.
As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse.
There are even reports that J-Lo herself was involved in Diddy's alleged freak-offs, and even took part in threesomes and orgies with other Hollywood elites while she was dating Diddy.
Hey, speaking of
This
love,
is love.
I saw a guy on the internet the other day who said he used to be your security guard, who said that when you were dating J-Lo, Will Smith and Jada tried to pick her up on a threesome and you were gonna beat up Will Smith. Is that true?
Yo, this show has gotten crazier since the last time I No,
It's all about love, though. That's not true?
You really heard that? Nah.
What? Yeah, I watched it on the internet. You're telling me I can't believe everything I read?
What? I don't know what you're talking about. Jimmy, I thought we was friends. Where did this?
Tell me the story about how Puffy wanted to fight Will Smith over Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, man. We were at a birthday party that I think either Matt Damien was giving for Ben Affleck. It was just a little gathering. It was at the Four Seasons. Will Smith and his sister and her husband, we were all sitting on this side of the room. Matt Damien, Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez, Puff, Will Smith, and Jada, and it was sitting on the other side of the room. So I know Puff so well that he stood up. When he stood up, he walked and did his arm some kind of way, like, and then he went like this, like that. I went over towards him. I know to go over there towards him. So I go over towards him, and he said to me, he said, yo, I think Will and Jada is trying to scoop up Jennifer. I want you to stay close, because I'ma snuff him. I said to myself, Will Smith gonna beat the shit out you. Now, Puff could scrap now, but I don't think he could beat Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? Well, he could scrap. You know what I'm saying? So then he said that shit. So I didn't go back over there where Will Smith's sister and her husband was. I stayed like in the, like about, if he snuffed Will, I could move slow enough that Will could probably get 2 or 3 punches back in. Yeah, but that's funny. He thought that Jada and Will was coming on too strong to Jennifer, making advances.
J-Lo and Diddy were even involved in a shooting back in 1999. The shooting, which resulted in the death of one person and another person getting shot in the face, never resulted in any arrests, even though both J-Lo and Diddy fled the scene. Allegedly, this was what led to J-Lo breaking up with Diddy, as it was her gun that was used in the shooting.
All Jennifer Lopez had to do was marry a white boy, Oscar winner, for people to stop remembering that she had a gun in her pocketbook. She had gunshot residue on her hands the night that Natanya was shot at that club. For all we know, that bullet came from the gun that was in her hand. And not once has she spoken up for the betterment of that woman. Not once has she donated to her family or for her medical bills that she's still paying, or say something in her defense to stop Puffy from gaslighting her and trying to put hits out on her because he was afraid that maybe one day they would open the case and she still has the bullet fragments in her face. Like J-Lo has said nothing. Nothing. You really thought that just running off and marrying Ben Affleck was going to take you out of the Diddy downfall? But it saved her the first time though, didn't it? Because as soon as that club was over and as soon as they finished interrogating her, when she sat there and cried like a baby, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail. Benny Medina put her with that drunk white boy until she ran him off. Like, there are people sitting here screaming out at the toll that the atrocities that Sean Combs has done to their lives, and you're trying to avoid your part in the story or the fact that you never spoke up. You know, you want to tell people on the low and put it out there that the movie was enough, was about you getting away from Puffy, but you didn't think about the trail of girls that you left behind. What happens to Cassie if J-Lo had said something to Diddler back then? Would Cassie have ever been a victim? Answer me that. Because that situation happened in the late 90s. That situation happened before Aaliyah passed away, and Aaliyah passed away in 2001. He didn't get with Cassie until 2009, 15 years after he was with Jennifer. If she had to come forward about the abuse that she suffered in a relationship with Sean Combs, Cassie would never have gone through what she's gone through. J-Lo being a stand bitch is Cassie not getting punted in a fucking hallway.
J-Lo never spoke out about any of the abuse that Diddy was involved in. And it was because of J-Lo's enabling behavior that Diddy was able to continue for so long. Recently, footage from 2016 showing Diddy beating his then-girlfriend Cassie has also come up, which shows Diddy beating her up and dragging her into his room.
New surveillance footage obtained exclusively by CNN appears to corroborate some of the allegations of abuse against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The video, captured on multiple cameras, shows Combs wearing only a towel, assaulting his then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a hallway at a Los Angeles hotel in March 2016. A lawsuit filed by Ventura in November last year and settled the next day referenced actions that seem to match those seen in this video. There is no audio. According to the complaint, Combs became extremely intoxicated and punched Miss Ventura in the face, giving her a black eye, which, according to the lawsuit, prompted Ventura to try and leave the hotel room.
This footage just shows how much J-Lo's neglect has affected Diddy's future girlfriends. After the footage came out, Diddy had to come out and apologize. If J-Lo had stepped up back in 2001, so many women could have been saved, and no one would have had to lose their lives.
I was up. I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Another one of Diddy's former victims, Natanya Rubin, has also spoken out about abuse that she suffered at the hands of Diddy, and mentioned specifically that J-Lo was involved and directly enabled his behavior.
There's no doubt in my mind who shot me.
You have said since really right after the shooting that it was P. Diddy who shot you.
I was standing by the front door. I watched the entire thing out. I had no reason to believe that it would escalate to a shooting. It was just male machismo and bravado at first. A lot of pushing and shoving, raised voices, hands, but then I saw them reach in their waist and draw from their hip. And I knew. I instantly turned to my friends and told them, be careful, watch out. And when I turned back, I know, and I've said over and over, I've heard the voices that I said, you are about to be hit. Calm down. And as I said no, I looked straight forward ahead and I watched the muzzle flash from both of their guns and I felt the impact to my face instantly. J-Lo testified at the grand jury, as did many other people. It needs to be reopened because if that is in fact the case, she carried the gun in and she lied to the grand jury.
The most interesting part of Natanya's statement is that other people close to Diddy, like Lil Rod, have independently corroborated her statements too. According to both Natanya and Lil Rod, everyone that was inside the club that night knew it was Diddy who pulled the trigger, and J-Lo was the one who handed Diddy the gun.
Pulled the trigger. But this is interesting, Natanya. Rodney Jones, also known as Lil Rod, is now suing Diddy for sexual harassment. That's something that's been in the headlines for the last couple of days. And there's a very interesting quote from his lawsuit that relates back to you that I want to read because it sort of ties all of this together. And it says, Jones claims in the lawsuit, Mr. Combs shared that he was responsible for the shooting in the nightclub in New York City with rapper Shine. He shared that artist and Mr. Combs' girlfriend at the time, Jennifer Lopez, AKA J-Lo, carried the gun into the club for him and passed him the gun after he got into an altercation with another individual. So now you have Lil Rod in this new lawsuit saying that Diddy told him that he actually was responsible. What did you think when you read that?
Well, I was incensed for a number of reasons. First and foremost, for the past quarter of a century, he's vehemently denied that he was responsible, even though I knew wholeheartedly, and as so many others who were in the club that night, we all knew he was responsible.
Statements have also been released by sources close to J-Lo, who say that J-Lo is extremely worried about the entire situation surrounding Diddy and doesn't want any of the drama to involve her. A source close to J-Lo said this: J-Lo's team is currently on high alert as they anticipate some drama as more people revisit the shooting of Natanya Rubin. There were crisis talks this week to discuss how and if Jennifer should respond if the ongoing case triggers the past. Jennifer was present when the incident happened, and a lot of people in the industry are looking at her sideways. There are rumors that J-Lo's mom knew that Diddy was the wrong kind of person for her daughter to be with, and she wanted J-Lo to break up with Diddy. Gene Deal, Diddy's ex-bodyguard, even mentioned that J-Lo's mom hired private investigators to follow Diddy so she could save her daughter.
Did you see any signs that Diddy and J-Lo was going to break up from your point of view? Did you see the writing on the wall?
Well, when I saw a lot of people, a lot of investigators following us, I knew they were private eyes because I worked for a private eye company at that time also. That was a lead investigation on 29th Street between, 10th and 11th Avenue. It was on 29th Street, elite investigation. So a lot of the private eyes, different private eye companies, you work with them on different other clients. One time we had Sharon Stone. So I knew a lot of the guys, and I saw a couple of guys who worked a couple of jobs with me before watching us. So I know a couple of guys that were watching us, So I was trying to tell Paul, yo, you know, we got PIs following us. You know what I'm saying? So it was only certain reasons if they was following us, if they was PIs, somebody was trying to find out something on us. And they'll usually be following us, not when we're going to a big party and stuff like that. They'll just be following me and Puff on our days that we were out and about and we were going certain places. So either somebody hired private eyes to follow us on behalf of Jennifer Lopez, or she did.
But why you think her and her team would do that?
Somebody hired private eyes to follow us. It could have been her manager, Benny Medina. He didn't like Puff. You understand? So I could tell in the first meeting, when I was around him and Puff, when I was in the first meeting with around him and Puff, we was in this meeting, and I could tell how he was talking to Puff. You know what I'm saying? That he didn't so much care for Puff. So anything to get Jennifer away from him, I think he was capable and ready to do it.
And you said J-Lo mom didn't like Puff either, right?
His mom couldn't stand. His mom never took a present, a gift. If she needed air to breathe, she wouldn't take his last breath.
People close to J-Lo were always against her dating Diddy. At the time, every Hollywood elite knew about the kind of person that Diddy was, and J-Lo's friends were desperately trying to keep J-Lo away from Diddy. Just look at how her mom reacted to the suggestion that J-Lo should get back to dating Diddy.
If you recall, the last time that you were here,
yes,
I was telling you that I could always see you getting back with Puffy in a little way.
I remember you said
yes.
that. Yes.
Or in my mind.
Look at
Or in my mind, getting together permanently with
first
Pitbull.
Of all, right, Pitbull. It's crazy. Everybody came alive. They all had something to say.
Yeah, everybody has an opinion.
Yes, it's funny to me.
How did so many people know that Diddy was bad news? Well, Diddy was exposing himself everywhere. Diddy thought he would never get caught and would openly speak out about how he was doing illegal things at his parties, and it was only a matter of time before he got arrested.
Your parties are the hottest ticket around.
They won't even give me a permit for the parties, man. They don't want me to throw the parties no more. But we ain't gonna stop. We're gonna keep on having fun, bringing people together from all walks of life. You're gonna hear about my parties. They're gonna be shutting them down. They're gonna probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things just because we wanna have a good time. You know, whenever you bring up a different element into people's environment, things that broaden people's horizon, people get intimidated. There's a lot of people out there that feel intimidated by it. It ain't nothing but break it down racial barriers, break it down generation barriers, people from all walks of life. Ron Perlman talking to Jay-Z, Jay-Z talking to, you know what I'm saying? It just goes on and on, you know, it's just like people from all walks of life connecting and getting together. Yeah.
Your parties are the hottest ticket in town. People dying to get into your party. How does that make you feel?
I mean, it's cool. You know, it doesn't make me feel any way special. It doesn't make me feel like a bigger person. It just makes me feel like I know how to throw a party.
Diddy even went as far as telling people on national TV that he was locking women in rooms and drugging them, but no one spoke up.
Okay, now, we need alcohol.
Right.
Alcohols.
Right. Not just one alcohol.
Alcohols.
Right, just
Plurals.
different blend. You need
Blends.
the ladies, you need the booze.
You need some water.
For watering plants?
No, I don't know if guys have noticed this, like a lot of ladies drink water at parties. They just, you know, so you have, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Gotta keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
yeah.
Rock with me, but just check it out. You need a lot of heat. A lot of heat. Yeah.
Heat, you mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning.
No.
Why is that?
Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects, like, you know, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose. Builds up a nice little sweat.
That just sounds disgusting. What are you talking about?
Depends on the way you look at it.
Depends. Oh, people start getting it gets kind of sexy. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you sexy. New word for you.
Yeah.
Why did no one speak up? Well, according to Gene Deal, there's a much bigger conspiracy in the works.
That's crazy, but the feds, they also revealed that they got photos and videos of Diddy Freakos.
When they did that raid, you understand, what they did was prior to the raid, they reviewed that civil lawsuit. And that civil lawsuit told, Cassie's civil lawsuit was LaRod had already did it. LaRod hadn't did his yet, did he? Did LaRod do his lawsuit before the raid or after the raid?
Oh, before.
Yeah, so what they did was they reviewed both of those civil lawsuits and found that there was some criminal activity in those lawsuits. We spoke that on Art of Dialogue. We spoke about that on your show. I said if they really wanted him, all they had to do was review those civil lawsuits. And once they find the criminal activity in those, they could bring them in. Now, did the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Miami do it? No, they didn't. Did California do it? No, they did not. The Southern District of New York, they took it upon themselves and put on that raid and everything based on the information they found in Cassie lawsuit and the information they found in Lil Rod lawsuit. But all this is bigger than Diddy. It's bigger than Diddy, bro. Cause you know who else they was doing investigation on during that whole time period? It was the mayor and the politicians in New York City. They turn around and give him the key to the city. All the mayor people that he brought on here in New York City are all resigning. They all resigning. People ain't gonna tie this together, but if you look at it, you have to say, because of Mayor Adams and his relationship with Diddy, it brought on the Southern District of New York to start investigating Diddy on civil lawsuits that was put against him. Because the feds is going out.
Will J-Lo be called to testify against Diddy, or will she try and get away from the entire situation like last time? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.